Hi guys, welcome back to the next video. If you like this one, give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Today we're going to talk about how do we know if our child is understanding what they have read and how can we help them with that process. So reading is not something that comes naturally. Reading is a skill that is explicitly taught. It usually takes a few years, so a couple of years over your child's, I suppose, start of your child's formal education. And your child's teacher is trained to do that. However, at home, there are plenty of things that we can do to help your child along the way. So reading is taught in two different parts. First part of reading is what we call decoding. So when we're decoding, we are looking at sounding out words. We're looking at where does punctuation fit in. So using punctuation to help us read properly. And we're also looking at recognising what we call whole words, whole common words. So words like was and the. They're words that we struggle sounding out. We have trouble sounding them out. That doesn't make sense to sound them out. So we teach the children that we teach them as a whole word, and they begin to recognise that word. They see that word all the time, and then they eventually just know the word. So that's one part of reading. That's usually the start of reading. Before we work out the understanding, we usually have to be able to teach them to sound out some words and read a few basic words first. Then they begin to understand what it is they've read. So the second part is obviously the understanding part. So once your child can read more words, well, then they assign meaning to that words. But for them to assign meaning to the words, your child needs to have the language to start with. So we call the oral language skills. And this is something that children learn long before they go to school. So if your child has good oral language, chances they're going to have an easier time to learn to read. So the more words they know before they go to school, then they'll be able to understand more words as they read them. So there's a few, I suppose, good questions that we can ask children after reading a book. So when you read with your child, you could say to them, oh, did you understand what you read? They might say yes or no. That doesn't always mean that they get it. They might just say yes just because they don't want to do any more. So whereas if you ask specific questions and get them to try and answer those questions, then you get a pretty good idea of have they read that? Do they understand what they've read? So some of the questions that we might ask is, who are the characters? Can you describe the characters to me? So who was your favourite character and what was that character like? You might say things like, where did the book take place? What was the problem and what was the solution? So how was that problem solved? You might say things like, what are the themes in the story? So who are the villains? Who is the hero? What time did the story take place? So it was in the past, the present, the future. Might be as simple as the afternoon or the morning, nighttime, daytime. So getting your child to, I suppose, pick up on all those things will then help you know that your child understands what they've read. So that's sort of a few key questions for you. All I'll do is I'll put those questions in the notes below. So in the YouTube version of this, so check this out on YouTube, and I'll pop those questions in the notes below. So children's language, and I suppose exposure to language, is vital for this understanding. The more your child understands, the more words your child has, the better they'll understand. The more themes, the more topics, the more I suppose, variation in what they know, then that'll then translate into their reading. So it always comes back to language. And as I've said previously, if we read to our children, we talk to our children, we sing songs to our children, then their language is only going to improve more. So I hope this helps and look forward to bringing the next one. Thanks, guys.